Hey everybody, Joel here. Just gonna do a quick little video about dry pour, some concrete edging that I'm putting around landscape around the house. And here's just a quick shot of the Quickcrete. I think I've taken 2 bags out of here. So there's probably about 14 bags in here right now, but I'll be laying those down. But I've got it all in various stages, so I'll be able to show you the product as it's going in, and I've got some finished product done also. So in this video we'll show the entire process from start to finish. Hang in there. So I'm here in the backyard, the shed I had built a couple of years ago, and just slowly getting things finished up around it, getting some landscape. We planted some hydrangeas this spring, and this is where I'm doing the concrete edging. So I want to do the entire backyard eventually, but I've got a lot of work to do back here. I've got some sod to lay over here, just redoing some things, some driveway work coming back to the shed here, a lot of rework that has to be done in this area. So I can't just get the concrete border, which I would prefer to have somebody come in and lay down a nice concrete edging. But I figured I could try this and do it in stages. So you can see I've dug out a trench. And I'm using these stakes that I had cut out of some steel shelving that I had gotten. I had a panel left over, so I just took the bolt cutters and made myself some steel stakes to hold the forms in place. I just ripped a piece of siding, some plywood siding, in half, and so I've got that roughed in. Now in this area I've started to lay in some Quickcrete, some of the stuff that was in the back of the truck. So I've got it filled just about halfway up, and I've gone all the way to the point to where I had stopped my last pour. And as you can see, I've got some rebar sticking out. I put 2 pieces of rebar in it. I think I'm gonna go down to 1. I think 2 pieces is probably overkill. I just transitioned loosely here. I'll get my single piece of rebar up in between. I'll do some overlap, and I think that's gonna work out great. I know when they do concrete edging, those guys, they don't use any rebar in there usually. They've got that slip form that's on the machine that goes right around, but it's not the best finish, which I didn't really care. I wanted it to look a little bit organic and not 100% perfect. Trying not to make it straight as narrow, but ideally I wanted it to be able to hold back this riprap, because I've got a little bit of a slope here. As you can see, the shed is built onto a hill just a little bit, and I wanted a flat area for the bushes and then for it to slope down a little bit. So I put the riprap there, and all of this is finished dry pour here. Again, it's by no means is it perfect, but boy, it really works out well, I would say. And then I just transitioned right into the edging. This is going to get ripped out all along here, and I'm going to dry pour this entire edge also and get rid of this old busted up plastic edging that's been in here for 15 years. We're the second owner of the house, so there's just things that need to be done and corrected and kind of cleaned up. So get a shot of it from this side down here. There's the portion that I have already finished, and then I put a little bit of a curve in it just to give it a little bit of dimension. And I'm going to continue on. It's going to taper down where the front pad of the shed is going to be. It's going to be just a little lower than what this area is, so I'm not going to have to rip wrap all the way across. I'm just going to slope down the rocks in that area. So once I get this finished up, get this edging in, then I can finish putting my slope on there. I had to move sprinkler heads, do a bunch of other work like that, but I'm gonna put some rebar in here, and then I'll start wetting it down. Well, actually, I'm gonna trowel it, give it a little trowel. I'll tap the edges to make sure it gets a decent smooth side, and then I'll run the concrete edger on it, and that puts kind of a nice little edge. Sorry, I'm in the shadow, aren't I? But you can see it's not a bad little edge on it. and then I'll start wetting it down, but I'll take you through the next couple of steps also. Okay, I'm about filled up half, a little more than half into the form, and I've got my rebar laid in there. Actually got lucky, there were only 2 pieces of 3/8 rebar left at Home Depot that I needed, and they were all bent up terribly. And I told her that I will take them anyways, and so just with some minor bending, they fit right in. They actually went around the corner pretty decent. And I just realized these are 12-foot forms. I've got 10-foot rebar. So that's why I'm 4 feet short on the end. So I will have to figure something out for that. And let's see. I'll get the rest of this form filled up and then put the trowel to it and then start putting some water on it. So stay tuned as I continue. Okay, here I am down at the transition between the old, couple weeks old, and the new. So I started adding my top layer. So now what I do is I just take the mag float and I just start screeding it with the mag float to get it nice and flat. And then after a good screed with the mag float, try to get these rocks pushed down to get more of the powder up on top. I know there's also a trick with a paint roller to kind of give it that final texture. And then I'm going to take my edger, my concrete edger, and put a nice little edge on that, so you can see how that just kind of puts a little break on it, so there's not a sharp corner, and it does a pretty decent job at that. Let's see, this side here just as an example. Yeah, see, that's not too bad, but like I said, I'm gonna get some of the more powder up to the top. I'll get this trowel down. You want to be careful to get not a ton of powder down, Quickcrete down along the edges here, like I did. It's as clean as I can get most of the way. Sometimes when you're dumping, you get a little bit more. You can use a shovel to put it in, just takes a little bit longer. But that'll harden up and just make it a little more difficult to get the forms out and more of a chance of you breaking something off. So I'm going to work on this transition right now, get that smoothed in, and then I'll start continuing on down the line. Okay, I've spread it out. I've kind of patted on it with the mag float. I think this transition is going to work just fine. And I think that edging turned out. Now I will just keep scooching down and work my way all the way to the end, floating this and then putting an edge on it. I will go in and put a little bit more powder in along this back edge here. Not as concerned about that because the rocks will be going up to that back edge, but this front edge looks pretty decent. And I also forgot to mention that you do want to tap on your form a little bit, just so you can get that smooth edge on it. You want it to be fairly decent. So here you can see that that's fairly smooth on this existing piece over here. But yeah, keep plugging along here, and then we'll start wetting it down. All right, I've got all of the Quickcrete into the form. Happy with that. Again, I'm not wanting it perfect. I'm wanting it a bit organic. So I think this is kind of it. I've got my transition down here with that rebar sticking out where I'll tie into with my next piece to go around the corner. So now there's a process to this, and this I have learned from other videos, so thank you for other dry pour videos. Give it a really light mist just to get everything wet. And then let's see, I'm going to use this sprayer, so I'll switch this to a mist. There's my mist, and the process is a light mist, then let it sit for an hour, come back, put another light mist, and then let it sit for an hour, and then come back and put a good wet on there. And that's what I did with this other one. It was really hot. It's really hot right now. It's almost 90. And this is gonna set up pretty quick. So I'll probably go about every half hour instead of a full hour with the misting. But we'll go ahead and we'll get started with that. Those little pebbles are likely going to pop out. But one thing I've got also that I didn't mention is a really good elastic concrete patch. It's made for poured concrete walls, and I'll use that anywhere where I want to fill in where I didn't get the powder fully tamped up. It's kind of like the cream coming up to the top. Get the very end. Just getting it wet. Just so the color is gone. Just basically so it changes color. Got my screwdriver in here just kind of holding that form back. That's what's going on there. Oh, this water's hot from sitting in the hose in the sun. Okay, so we'll run with that. There's just a very light mist on the top. I'll come back half hour, maybe 45 minutes, and give it another mist. It's time for lunch. Okay, it's been an hour after 2 mists, and it is still pretty, it's getting a little, yeah, it's firming up good, but it's still a little bit powdery. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with another good mist, but just a little bit more this time around. We'll kind of move back a little bit here. It's really turning out nice. I like that curve. I like how that curve just defines it a little bit. It's gonna look nice with a couple of steps I've got going up into the front of the shed then. I think I'll need to add another step. I'm just trying to get the lay of the land. But yeah, I'm gonna give it another mist here. Probably a bit more than the last few that I've been given. Oops, I've got it on shower because I watered the hydrangeas. Okay, there's mist again. It is hot. It's 90 plus. On a Saturday, the week before the 4th of July. Corn's coming up nice out in the backyard. Way out back. Probably can't see it unless you're able to zoom in. Is Long's Peak and Mount Meeker on the Front Range of Colorado. Front Range of the Rocky Mountains, I should say, in Colorado. Be a little more specific. I think I'm going to give this one a half an hour to set. I probably could have came out a little sooner. All right, there we go. So this is the 3rd misting, and like I said, I'll probably come out in half an hour and check it out and maybe give it its first kind of good soak. It's definitely setting up a lot different than the last one I did. I can still get my finger down in there. It's getting firm, but there's a little bit of dust still on there, so I'm gonna wet it down a bit more this time because I've misted 3 times. And I'm just going to give it a little bit more, to just making sure that I'm not degrading with too much pressure, too much water pressure. So I'll just give it some light shower, but a bit more this time. It's really hot, like I'd mentioned before. It's over 90 today, so it is soaking it up really quick. We'll get at it. Yeah, it really soaks it up in this heat, but I'm giving it a pretty good dousing this time, so that water is going to trickle down in, just get soaked up. I did fail to mention too that this will soak up water from underneath also. But it's looking pretty good. I think just a couple more shots with the shower and it'll be looking like this does over here, which isn't too bad. Okay, it's the Monday afternoon after pouring this on Saturday. Or not pouring it, putting the powder or the Quickcrete in the forms and wetting it down several times. So again, it's not perfect. Kind of hate saying that the goal was to have it look organic, because sometimes when you say you want it to be organic or you call something organic, just means you're taking the lazy way, or maybe that's the crappy way to do it. I don't know. But anyways, this is what I chose to do and this is how it turned out. I'm just going to peel this off here and see how it looks underneath. Take a peek. Transition looks okay. Again, it hasn't set up for too long yet, but I'm still gonna take it out. Oh, there's a spider. Lots of those around here. Oh, that looks pretty good. Okay, that's peeling off nice. All right, I'll have to go down there. I want to be careful when I'm peeling so I don't break off the fronts, but that doesn't look bad at all for what I'm looking for. Ties in there. And I'll get the grass planted back up close. Yeah, happy with that. So I'm going to get all these forms peeled off then, and it'll be a little easier and neater with two hands instead of holding the camera with one. And then we'll give a look-see at the very end at how it looks. All right, strip the forms off. Here's just kind of showing you what these forms were. Just a piece of siding ripped in half, and they are absolutely reusable. Even though they're curved, they'll lay back down straight. I've got them taken off. Here's my rebar. I'll make a nice transition for the next run, going down around this way. And we'll get another 24 feet in. Here's some of that, what I was talking about. If you get a little too carried away with some Sacre or Quickcrete leaking over, you end up with a little bit, but that's no big deal. But yeah, this is what turned out to be one nice continuous piece. So I'll go down here and show you from this way. Easy, very, very easy to do. Again, I would prefer having that machine, having a professional come in and they can stamp it and color it. But you could do all of that with this also, I would imagine. Maybe after the first wetting, pick up one of those stamp type rollers, and you could probably roll a pattern in of some type. You could probably throw down some different powder, different colored powder. If you wanted to dress it up, I'd imagine probably just as unlimited as regular concrete edging, But I chose a simple route, just to lay bags of Quickcrete, 60-pound and 40-pound bags, doesn't matter, and then just wet it down. So thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next video.